Hey, Chicago, what do you say? It's the CHGO Cubs pregame show presented by PointsBet. Use the promo code CHGO when you sign up to get 2 risk-free bets up to $2,000. He is Cody Delmendo. I am Luke Stuckmeyer. We're getting ready for the Cubs and Pirates to start a 4-game set at Wrigley Field. Cody, we've got summertime shy vibes going tonight.
In April, isn't it great?
We went from snow, sleet, to now it's like 68 degrees at the ballpark for a night game.
I'm jealous. Casey, our social media director, she's going to the game tonight. Corey's at the game tonight. I'm jealous.
We're sitting here.
We're sitting here. That's because we love all of you.
But we do have free Twix. There's beer in the fridge.
Yes. There's beer. More importantly, there is beer in the fridge.
Cheetos in the cabinet.
Ooh, don't remind me about
So if we
Cheetos.
come on with orange fingers, you know what we've been doing. Digging into that Cheetos stash.
Exactly.
We have some trades to talk about, and we'll get to that in a second. But the Cubs are at the 500 mark as we start this series. 6-6 on the season. 12 games into the season. Have they changed your mind at all as you get ready for game number 13?
I will say that at this point, the Cubs have been, for the most part, exactly what I expected. A lot of ups, a lot of downs. You can see the flaws on the team. You can see the pros on the team. Last night was clearly probably their worst game they've played of the year, but in those conditions, I mean, I've been telling people all day that, like, if they would have had a game, if that game would have been against a divisional opponent or even a National League opponent, they would have just postponed it. But since Tampa Bay wasn't coming back to Chicago this year, they found a way to get it in no matter what. It is what it is. Why they scheduled Tampa Bay in April, I don't know.
On both sides of town.
Right.
That's
I
the
don't
hilarious
know,
part.
but, you know.
Don't they want to get out of Tampa in like a month? Of course they do.
Yeah.
It's going to be starting to get real humid down there.
Right.
Cubs are 6-6, 500 mark, right on pace for my prediction of 81-81 on the season.
Yeah, I mean, okay, like
We'll see.
What did I say? 87 wins.
Yeah.
I was drinking the Cubby Kool-Aid, and clearly there's a lot will have to go right for the Cubs to actually do that. But again, I feel like in the 12 games that they've played, me and you both can sit here and say that they were playing better than we really expected on opening day.
I would say expectations for a lot of people, including myself, were fairly low, and they've exceeded those expectations for the first 12 games. By the way, I mentioned the trades, 2 of them in a 24-hour period, so they're still tweaking the roster. We know more roster moves are going to happen because multiple guys have been injured at the beginning of the season. You have the extra players currently still on the roster for now because of the shortened spring training, because of the lockout. Last night, the Cubs traded Jesse Chavez and cash considerations. That's what I wanted the title of this episode to be, cash considerations.
Cash considerations.
Back to the Braves. The Cubs and Braves like to exchange Jesse Chavez quite a bit.
Apparently.
For lefty Sean Newcomb, who's 28, he is the 15th overall pick in the 2014 draft of the Angels. He started for the Braves in 17 and 18. Then he moved into kind of a reliever role for the world champs a little bit last year. Do you like this move?
For Newcomb, yeah. I like Sean Newcomb as like a high upside piece, 28 years old. Definitely has experience as a starter, but I think the Cubs are going to use him more out of the bullpen to start here. And, down the road, if there's another injury or something, they might try to stretch him out then. But, he's kind of struggled the last couple of years, so that's why they're, the Braves are just – honestly, they just kind of gave up on him.
Yeah.
That's what it is. So this is just another one of those high, reclamation project type moves the Cubs would make. So you can add him to the list with Clint Frazier and Patrick Wisdom, Frank Schwindel, Michael Hermosillo.
Yes.
You can add him to that list of people.
Low risk, high reward.
Yeah.
Because if he doesn't work out, all you lost was Jesse Chavez, who wasn't pitching well anyway.
Right. And he's
getting older.
He's
right? Yeah, agreed. So, he has struggled with his command, Newcomb, but he has like kind of electric stuff. In my mind, the guy he reminds, even though he's a left-hander, and by the way, he's available tonight, I would not be surprised to see him pitch tonight.
Right.
Because Leiter's going, and you figure they're going to need somebody else to bridge the gap there.
Yeah.
Something in my head, even though I haven't seen him pitch that much, the problem for him is similar to Dylan Maples, electric stuff. He's just got to find a way to control it.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
and so it's just like adding that type of player.
I don't have the stats in front of me, but I swear like it was 2018, 2019, maybe a combination of both of those seasons. Those were probably his best years with the Braves. And there's a few times he came into Wrigley and shoved against the Cubs. So there's like he has the background of being a really good pitcher. Maybe in the bullpen is just where he's suited to be right now. And
Right.
tonight would make a lot of sense if he did come in because we just don't know what we're really going to get out of Mark Leiter Jr. So
Tommy Hotovy loves to see if he can find something along with Jed Hoyer that they can
it's almost like
turn a guy.
Tommy.
And sometimes also it can just be a change of scenery.
Right. I feel like Tommy Hotovy and Brendan would just like they could sit and
Yeah.
just have coffee or
Right.
1,000 beers together and just talk about pitching and then talk about like, oh, this is how we would fix this guy or this guy. Because when you listen to Corey and Brendan's podcast, Brendan has straight up
Yeah.
said he doesn't like watching good players because he wants to.
Yeah. He said that last night.
He said that they're boring, right? So he wants to know how he can fix or how the Cubs can fix these certain guys. That doesn't mean he doesn't like watching good baseball players, but when it comes to pitching, he is intrigued to why certain guys aren't working out with certain organizations. And you look at their arsenal and what they can do. And in this case, Sean Newcomb, a guy who has had success at the major league level, has been struggling for a while. How do we get him back to that level again? How does Tommy Hotovy fix him? So
I don't know. Phil says, Brendan was hot for Newcomb last night. Niren pointing out that maybe we need a mock pitch lab for the studio, potentially out of Legos and bobbleheads. I don't know who's. I've never been good with Legos, by the way, so I don't know who's building that. But as a kid, I was not a Lego guy. I was more of a Lincoln Logs guy.
I was a Lego guy, and I stepped on them way too many times. It's the worst pain you'll ever feel, I feel like, as a kid. So, yeah, I don't know.
Ronan wants to see what Tommy can do with Newcomb. All right, so that's the first trade. The second trade, Corey Abbott, who was DFA'd recently, goes to the Giants for cash considerations.
Cash.
He made 8 appearances last year. This one's less exciting to me.
Yeah.
Because you're really just getting potentially cash back. It's just a guy that you were letting go.
Yeah,
So,
we
whatever.
saw Corey Abbott a little bit last year, and I can't really say too much. I'm not a prospect guru per se, like Brian Smith, for example, from Bleacher Nation, or Greg Huss from Northside Bound. There's a few other guys that I know that are like just straight on the prospects. But from what I saw last year when he was with the Cubs, there was just not a lot going on. And I know he had command issues too. I think the Cubs just kind of, I don't know. I feel like the Cubs just, I don't want to say they gave up, but I guess they just weren't seeing progress.
They have enough,
and they also
let's
have a
see what we have projects.
Yeah.
That if they think one of them is done, it's time to move on quickly.
Yeah. Well, the Cubs
that's-
drafted Abbott. It's just like he's been in the system for a while, and it's not like he's a highly touted prospect. So, in a way, they probably just didn't see a future with him on the roster. So
Right.
they were like,
Let's get the cash back that we just gave with Chavez to go get Newcomb.
Yeah. Now,
right? I mean, it
Right.
seems like what that just might be.
Now, maybe you could argue if people want to actually argue it, like maybe Abbott deserved this chance to pitch that Leiter is pitching. They're basically the same, not the same type of pitcher like that, but the role right now. Like Abbott's been in he was in AAA.
Yeah.
Like he was that fringe like roster guy, depth guy who'd come up and give you a spot start if you absolutely needed one. And that's basically what Leiter is doing here with all the injuries the Cubs have on the starting rotation right now. So, if Abbott goes on to the Giants and, becomes a productive MLB player, then I guess we can look back and say, well, that was dumb, but
Right.
I don't know. I don't see him having a high ceiling with the Giants either. He's just, for his sake, I hope he does figure it out because, it's just always a good story whenever the guys who aren't exactly highly touted make a name and figure it out,
Niren says, cheers for humoring me on the pitch lab, I assume he's talking about.
lab.
So
Yeah.
Cubs batting .263. That is third best in Major League Baseball. Let's take a look at their lineup tonight against the Pirates. Again, a 4-game series about to start at Wrigley Field. Ortega leading off and playing right. Seiya Suzuki still batting second in the lineup. You know, he's moved around. He keeps slowly moving up the lineup. Currently, he's second in the lineup, but he will be the DH tonight. So getting a night off in the field. Contreras catching. Happen left. Schwindel at first. Jonathan Villar, 11 for his last 28 in the last 10 games. So he's off to a good start offensively. A rough defensive game for him yesterday before the rain got there. Wasn't his best game, so maybe he can swing his way out of that. Jason Hayward in center, Patrick Wisdom at third, and Nico Horner batting ninth at short. How do you feel about this lineup?
Yeah, I mean, every single day the Cubs put the lineup out, I always quote tweet it. I'm like, it's a good day to go 1-0. It's just the mentality, right? And someone replied to it and was like, they just asked, like, are you tired of seeing VR in the lineup? And I'm like, are you just going off based off yesterday because of his bad defensive game? Because this guy's been mashing, right?
Yeah, he's been one of their hottest hitters.
So, I mean, I would have liked to get Madrigal in there tonight, but, you need VR's bat in there, and he hasn't had to start over at second yet, and for his size, I feel like second is probably his best. It's either second or third, and clearly you want to get Wisdom in there, and it is what it is.
And
but
Cody, he's like David Ross has shown that he'll have a quick hook in a game. He might see a match and be like, all right, Madrigal, get up there. Like, he's willing to mix and match these guys because it's just not. That's true. It's not a set lineup.
Right.
Every day we get a different lineup.
Right.
And it's understandable because they're just trying to find out guys and keep everybody getting the same amount of at-bats and everybody's getting opportunities, and hopefully that's the way they find success.
Who knows? We might see Madrigal later in the game. VR might move from, second to third if they remove Wisdom from the game because of a matchup that Ross doesn't like. We
could see Hayward come out of center. Now we could potentially see
Wisdom
in center. You could have VR go over to third. You could have Madrigal come in and go to second. I mean, this team is fairly interchangeable.
Yeah. And going back to like what I was talking about earlier is like I was expecting a lot of that, but I wasn't necessarily expecting as much as we've seen. So, and to me, it's at least been fun to watch in that aspect of being able to see different guys. And a lot of people going into the season was like, how many at bats is Hayward going to take from Hermosillo and all these other guys? And for the most part, he really hasn't taken a lot of at-bats from people, and he really hasn't played that bad either. So, I like what we've seen from Hayward, so I don't mind that he's in the lineup tonight either.
You gambling on any of these guys tonight?
Oh, yes, I definitely am. I got Ian Happ to get 2+ total bases. You know where I made that bet?
Points bet?
Oh, exactly.
I figured.
Exactly.
Fastest sports book in America.
What a transition we just did right there. The best way to support CHGO is to download the PointsBet app and use code CHGO when you sign up. If you make a $50 or more first-time deposit, receive a free CHGO membership, which unlocks all of our web content. You'll even get a free shirt of your choice from the CHGO locker. If you have any questions, email pointsbet@allchgo.com and we'll help you. Remember that PointsBet is your home for live in-game betting. They even have a new exclusive feature, live NBA same-game parlay. For the first time ever, build the perfect live same-game parlay only with PointsBet. Combine your favorite bets anytime during the game. You can even boost your live same-game parlays. And now, online sign-up is available in Illinois. You can download the PointsBet app right now and register your account from start to finish, all from your phone. Signing up with the fastest sportsbook is now easier than ever, so you can start living your bet life in seconds. Use code CHGO to get two risk-free bets up to $2,000. So what are you waiting for? Once the game starts, don't just bet. Live your bet life with PointsBet. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-522-4700.
Phil on the YouTube feed says 8-9 wraparounds good in the lineup. He likes Wisdom, Horner, Ortega, Suzuki.
Yeah. I like that. That's a good comment. Good point.
Jack says you guys should check out the CHGO Bets Daily Show. I've been on the chat lately, and it's really good. Cody and Sean do a great job.
We've been red hot.
How about that promotion?
Yeah.
Cody, over $200
Whoa,
now.
we have cross promotion between shows. It's so hot.
Yeah, Jack's been in the the chat I feel like every day, like the last week. It's good stuff. We have a good time. It's very, very, very short show. It's literally like 15 minutes, so it's actually shorter than this pregame show is.
Right.
So yeah, it's a lot of fun if you're trying to make some money, gambling on the White Sox, Cubs, Bulls, Blackhawks, the Bears in the fall. Yeah, or just anything else, honestly, because we talk about everything.
If people don't think Cody's actually putting his money on Sportsbet, I've got news for you. The kid walks in here with new kicks every other day. Like, he comes into the bill. Every time he comes in, I'm like, are those new Jordans? Yep. Cody, do you have new Jordans on today? Yep, sure. Just got them this morning.
These.
Oh, man, my soles, they're dirty already. He's upset that the soles are dirty on his shoes. Like,
yeah, I do.
How many Jordans do you have now?
Oh, man, I have at least 7 or 8 pairs.
And I feel like at least 3/4 of those are within the last month.
They are.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay,
yeah, they
right?
are. They are.
We put the show on YouTube, and all of a sudden, Cody's out buying Jordans like they're, lottery tickets. All right, so we're pitching matchup tonight. Thank you. Pitching matchup tonight, we mentioned it, Mark Leiter Jr. going against Bryce Wilson. Leiter was not great the last time out. You wonder if this is his last shot to prove himself, at least for this period of time, If he doesn't do well, somebody else comes in and gets that opportunity.
I'd be interested to see who that person would be.
Right.
But we were talking on the couch over there earlier. His start against Colorado, it started out very promising. He looked very good the first time through the rotation, or not the rotation, the lineup, and then just kind of fell apart that second time through. So hopefully, for his sake, he makes some adjustments and maybe changes things up this time around. But other than that, like that first time through the lineup, he looked very serviceable.
Right.
So, and this time,
good team for him to face.
Right. Yeah, and I was going to say, like, it was in Colorado. It's at Coors Field. Like, now you get the home crowd and the Pirates. So this is a big opportunity for him to prove that, hey, I deserve another shot here. So,
I do like to make fun of the Pirates and the fact that they're clearly not trying this season. However, they are just a game behind the Cubs, and if they win tonight, they'd have the same record.
They just got swept. They just got swept by the Brewers, which is like, of course, that the Brewers should do that. But it's also like in my head, it's like, okay, so that means the Pirates are due for one, and this is probably the game that they would be due for because. We don't, like I said, we don't know what we're going to get out of Mark Leiter Jr. And the first 2 games the Cubs and Pirates played, they were close games. So I don't expect the Cubs to just come out here and roll tonight. I'd love for that to happen, but I just don't expect it. So
Seiya has homered in every major league ballpark he's played in, says Phil. Steven, do we have the Bucks lineup for tonight? When you look at Pittsburgh's lineup, Vogelbach has been hot for them lately.
Yep.
He's leading off playing DH, but really, you go down that list. I know you say Gamble batting 6th and playing left is a Cub killer.
He is a Cub killer.
But let's be honest, other than Vogelbach's spare home run and Gamble being a Cub killer, really you should be worried about Ke'Bryan Hayes.
Yes, Ke'Bryan Hayes and even Brian Reynolds. They just extended him to like 2026 or something. So, yeah, those first 3 hitters, you get through those 3 guys without giving up too much damage, and the Cubs should win tonight. So, but Ke'Bryan Hayes is going to be a problem for the next decade.
I can't remember the stat. I was watching just a little bit of the Sox game today, and they put up. I think it was exit velocity on swings in the strike zone or something like that, and Ke'Bryan Hayes was like top 5 in Major League Baseball.
Yeah, I believe it.
Something like that.
His last game,
basically saying when he hits it, he's crushing it.
Right. In his last game against the Cubs, he went 4 for 4. That last game in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
And that was against the first 2 at bats were against Kyle Hendricks. So, yeah, this guy, he's the guy for sure, and Brian Reynolds is a good hitter too. So,
I like Jack's comment. Looking for Leiter to go 3 solid innings. Would you take 3?
I would, because that you go 1, 2, 3 in those first 3. That's one time through. I I would.
Would you take him out after that, or are you suggesting that 3 solid innings and then the 4th is going to be?
And
then you take him
It's
out.
weird because like in Colorado, he really did just go through that lineup with no problem the first time through, and then stuff started to happen. I think this time you can still let that leash go a little bit because you are playing Pittsburgh. But it just depends on how he gets those guys out the first time through. The Cubs need him to go. Like ideally, the Cubs need him to go at least 5 tonight. At least, like, but with how much the bullpen's been used and everything, like they need him to do it. But that's also why Sean Newcomb is available tonight as well.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if he goes 3. I wouldn't be surprised if he's pitching well and gets you 5. I'm rooting for the guy to give me the 5 because I want to save the bullpen. So
Did you say he was going to wear Newcomb's going to wear number 15?
number 15, yeah.
I'm trying to think of number 15s in Cubs history. Off the top of my head, I can't come up with one. That's bad.
Well, I'll Google it real quick for you. Darwin Barney.
Darwin Barney was number 15. I didn't. Gold Glover, Darwin Barney.
He was
Anybody else?
he was one of my favorites.
He's a good guy. Is he in the front office? I thought
I thought he was a manager for the
no.
the Brewers.
He bought a piece of a team.
Did he?
Just a tiny piece. I think the Blue Jays. Is he part?
I thought he was.
We're going to look that up before the post-game show. Darwin Barney is still involved in the game, and I remember seeing it going, I didn't expect to see that. It's either a manager or he bought like a tiny little percentage of some team.
He came back for the Cubs convention in 2019, the last one the Cubs had because of the pandemic. And it was right before he was starting his managerial career with a minor league team in the Brewers.
That must be what it was.
That's what I'm pretty sure he's doing right now. I mean, I haven't heard anything else. So,
all right, it's time for everybody's favorite game on the CHGO Cubs pregame show. It's time for Who You Got.
Who you got?
Ryan isn't here. He's at the ballpark, so we gave him first choice. And we said, Ryan, go ahead, take whoever you want. He's taking Wilson Contreras.
That's not a bad pick.
Yeah, that's a good pick. He
Hits well against Pittsburgh too,
and he's been streaky. Like home run, double play, home run, double play. Throw a guy out.
Yeah.
Jack is saying I would take him out after the first time through, but if he goes 1, 2, 3, I'd keep him in, but with a short leash. Grandpa Stuckey.
Yeah,
thank you
for sure. I agree. Like I said, I agree. I just think the Cubs need him to go more than 3,
right?
Ideally. So I'm hoping he looks good in those 3 innings, those first 3 innings.
Who's your who you got for tonight?
I got Ian Happ. Like I said before we did the PointsBet ad, Ian Happ, 2+ total bases tonight.
He's been hot.
He's been hot. It's not even like a joke. He is one of the best hitters in the National League right now with an OPS over 1,000. Not many players are playing that well. Also, it's kind of, you want to ride with the narrative. He's from Pittsburgh. Always plays well against Pittsburgh. So, in the cleanup spot, I like Ian Happ to get a few hits tonight. Yeah.
I'm torn. You know how I like to switch this up. I always
Every
come up with a
time.
name. I told Steven I was going, say it, baby, hottest hitter in baseball. Man, and he likes the warm weather. He probably doesn't have to even wear the gator today. But I should ride with the boys. Near and Jack and Phil are all telling me it's Frank the Tank.
Frank the
so
Tank.
Do I ride with the boys or do I go with the hottest hitter in baseball?
Dude, I think you gotta keep riding with
Law
the
Dog says hottest hitter in baseball.
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, all right. It's already in there. So Jack, Phil, and Niren are on record as taking Frank the Tank.
Okay.
I will take the best hitter in baseball, Seiya Suzuki, who will be much warmer and won't have to play right field.
And he won't have to wear that big.
Doesn't have to wear the big gator thing over his head. I love that he's been saying, like, these aren't the charts that I got when you told me what the weather was like in Chicago.
He was on MLB Network today, and I guess they asked him if he had met Mike Trout yet, and I guess he hasn't. But he said that he wants to give him a big hug or something like that. And then they also asked him, like, who's the biggest jokester in the clubhouse or something like that. And I guess Nick Madrigal did something with shampoo or something when he was in the shower one time. So, yeah, they're having a great time.
Having a good time. They're 6-6, and hopefully they're 7-6 and flying the W after tonight.
Right.
Thanks for dropping in and checking out the CHGO Cubs pregame show presented by PointsBet. We'll hope you hang out with us after the final out. We'll be back for the CHGO postgame show presented by PointsBet. Cody and I will be here. Ryan hopefully joining from the ballpark, and we'll see if our who you got picks turned out and if the Cubs can get over the 500 mark. We'll see you then.